Hello everyone, welcome back to Graybeard's Nation. I'm Todd, and today I'm doing yet another vinyl tag for 2025 and 2024. This one was brought to us by Boz at That Vinyl channel, and it's for soundtracks. And it's a good one because I wouldn't normally do this. So many times I did the summer vinyl tag this year. I did the 2025 vinyl tag, which was from that Pretty Green Vinyl guy. But I figured I'd do this one because I rarely get an opportunity to break out all my soundtracks. And they're all over the place too. So one thing that I was going to say that's great about vinyl tags is it gives you the opportunity to, number one, make a huge mess. And number two, break out all of your vinyl and then put it all back into a organized fashion, because I have thousands of records and they are poorly organized. I'm waiting for maybe retirement to organize, if that even happens. So let's get this kicked off. There's 13 questions. I'm looking at the list right here. Your favorite movie soundtrack purchase of 2024? That's right here. I bought the Easy Rider soundtrack. Bought this at a record show. This is a reissue, but it sounds excellent. You got Jimi Hendrix Experience on there playing Easy Rider. You got, just amazing. The Electric Prunes are on here. This is definitely one. Steppenwolf, good rockin' record, a great listen. Just to sit down. Every song is fairly decent on this album, Easy Rider soundtrack. All right, next one. Last soundtrack to date that you bought in 2024. I only bought this because it was $2, and it's The Wildlife, and I thought this was weird. It's a 1984 movie, not a great movie. It's got Christopher Penn in it, Leia Thompson. Kind of fell into those like trying to be John Hughes movies. But it's not a very good movie. But it does have some pretty cool stuff on here. And one song by Edward Van Halen called Donut City is actually a really good track. So, The Wildlife. All right. A soundtrack that you have more than one copy of. Don't ask. Pick a favorite music genre, then show a soundtrack from that genre. Okay. I'm not just going to pick a genre. I'm going to pick a musician, and that is Jimi Hendrix. You've seen some of my vinyl tags before, and certainly some of the shows that Larry and I do on the Graybeard's Nation channel. You see that I am a huge Jimi Hendrix collector and fan, and this soundtrack to a horrible movie is really a pretty good one. Listen to it again this morning just to make sure that I had it in my soul. This is a fantastic soundtrack, and to me, this also defines a genre for me, and I think for anybody who's a guitar player and the 60s. All right. Show a score from your collection. This would be a music score. This one here is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, John Williams. Right? We all know John Williams, a very famous composer for movie scores and such. This is, it's a pretty good record. You put it on, kind of background music. This one was a neat press. It's got the little 45 7-inch extra, add-on. But cool movie, too. Watched it, me and the wife watched it about, less than a year ago. And we're really surprised about the special effects and how good they were for the 1970s. So if you get a chance, check out Close Encounters of the Third Time. If you haven't watched it in a while, or if you've never watched it, I think you'd be surprised. All right. Based on pressing date, your oldest soundtrack in your collection. This really didn't have a pressing date on it, but I was able to date it by Miss America 1953. So I'm assuming it's 53, 4, or 5. But this really isn't like a movie soundtrack. It's more about Leroy Holmes, whoever Leroy Holmes is. And it's music from the modern screen. And The Old Man and the Sea, and The Hong Kong Affair, True Love. I'm sure these were all great movies in the 50s. But this is the oldest movie soundtrack collaboration that I actually have. All right. I Feel Pretty. Show a cool color or splatter vinyl record from a soundtrack. This is actually pretty cool, and you probably never heard of this. This is Slade and Flame. It's a UK movie. They pressed it on DVD in the probably mid-2000s. I would highly recommend watching this movie. It's a great movie. It's on this really cool orange, yellow, red, etc. vinyl. but this is my pretty record, Slade and Flame, and Slade's a really cool band, good rockin' band. If you don't know Slade, I would highly give them a chance. They're really good. Another one I wanted to show on this too was, this was cool. I bought this at a record store day, I think a couple years ago. I think it was one of the best finds I've ever found on a record store day. I don't think you'll ever see this again. Stillwater. And this is Stillwater from the band from the movie Almost Famous. And this is all the demos that they had put together for Stillwater. It's Peter Frampton, Ann Wilson is in there singing. It's phenomenal. If you see one of these in the wild, I would highly recommend picking it up because it's great. And it's on this cool red vinyl too. All right. Show any 7-inch soundtrack movie-related vinyl. Got it. This is Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. It's my little 7-inch Pink Floyd. I think I have one too of Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells from the Exorcist soundtrack. Favorite soundtrack album artwork. I think most folks would agree that Heavy Metal has got some pretty cool artwork in it. From the movie Heavy Metal. And not only is the artwork cool, but so are the songs on here. Black Sabbath, some Blue Oyster Cult in there, some great stories behind the soundtrack for Heavy Metal. But a good one to own, not too expensive. You can find them at your vinyl shows. Pick one up if you get a chance. I think you'll like it. Original and remake. All right, this is pretty cool. So, original. An original would be the rock opera Tommy from The Who. This is an excellent album. I don't probably have to tell most of you that. It is an excellent album. But then they made the rock opera into a movie and changed it up. And it's I would call this a remake because, quite frankly, this is not all The Who playing it. It's a number of musicians from different bands and different solo artists that are playing on this album as well. I actually prefer the Who album over the Tommy album. It's just me. Show any 90s soundtrack. I don't have any 90s soundtracks in my collection, not on vinyl anyway. I do have, there's a couple on CD that I have that I actually really like a lot, but I don't have any on vinyl. So what I did is I picked one that is, I think, probably the latest. It's 1988 or 87. Dudes soundtrack. Again, kind of not a big movie, but the soundtrack's awesome. You can see with the hype sticker here, there's some Keel, got some Megadeth on there. There's just all sorts of really cool songs on this, and I picked this up not too long ago. If you see it, I would highly recommend it. Leather Nun is on there. Steve Vai also plays on this. Dudes soundtrack. Again, I don't know about the movie. It's not. I've seen it once or twice, and I can take it or leave it. Bargain bin find soundtrack that you can get on the cheap. I might have to take it back because the Peter Gunn soundtrack is getting a little bit harder to find. I mean, it's not really a soundtrack, but it's more from the television series, the Peter Gunn. This used to be $1 record all day. You could find it at any thrift store. You could find it at Goodwill. You could find it, in any bargain bin. That's kind of not happening anymore. So finding a really good, clean copy like this one for Peter Gunn, that's kind of a rarity. But this was my, at the time, my bargain bin buy. Show something, a soundtrack or movie related that is not a standard vinyl record or CD. I have got to get up and show you this. All right, this is one of my prized possessions that I had to go into my storage area for. But this is you can see that it's broken. Long story. Movers don't have, they don't care about your stuff, obviously. This is a 1971 original movie poster from the theater for the Jimi Hendrix movie Rainbow Bridge. I'm very proud of this. This is a very rare find, especially in the conditions that it's in. Luckily, the glass breaking didn't mess up the poster too much, but I'll be able to get it out there and reframe it. Well, that wraps up another vinyl tag for 2025 in 2024 on soundtracks. But if you want to see an episode, I'll put it at the end screen video of Larry and I doing a really cool video on great soundtracks for bad movies. And I think that one will really get you going if you get an opportunity. So make sure you watch that. And thanks again for tuning in. Keep spinning and stay great.